How you doing? I'm Jess with the Bourbon Betters coming to you for a March Madness video.
Earphones a little bit. Hey, free.
I'm going to do just a quick recap on the play-in games. I had Howard moving on. They did lose, but an overtime game to Wagner was a great game. And then we had Colorado State and Virginia. I told you to take the under, and I told you to take the money line on Colorado State. Colorado State did win, and it definitely was the under. Then Montana State and Grambling. Grambling won that one. I told you to go with Montana State. And I also told you to take the under on that one, and they did go over. And then the last game last night was Boise State and Colorado. I told you to take Colorado. Colorado did move forward. So today's Thursday. We're going to do Thursday games. There's 16 games a day, so I'm going to be real quick on each of them. I'm not going to give you too much details just because I don't want this video to go too long. The first game of the day is going to be Michigan State, Mississippi State. It's the number 9 team against number 8. Michigan State's 19-14, 5-5 in their last 10. Mississippi State 23-13, 5-5 in their last 10. Mississippi State is a 1.5 point underdog, and the over/under is 130.5. I think Hubbard has a big game. I think Michigan State's not that good. I think they just kind of got in because Izzo's Izzo, which I get it. The man deserves the respect. But I don't think they had a season worthy of the NCAA tournament. But we'll see. Nines do really good in this tournament, but I think Mississippi State, Hubbard has a big game. I'm going to take Mississippi State on the money line and Tulu Smith to have over 13.5 points. So, of course, my bracket, Mississippi State advances. The next game is going to be, I don't even know how to say this name, it's Duquesne and BYU. It's the 11 versus a 6. Duquesne is 24-11, 9-1 in their last 10. They're really hot. BYU is 23-10, 6-4 in their last 10. BYU is a 9.5 point favorite right now. Over under is 142.5. I think BYU comes out and plays really good, really inspired basketball, because I think they earned the right to play in Salt Lake City, but they're having to travel to Omaha, and I think they're going to have a point to prove. I also think that the Big 12 is probably the toughest basketball conference out right now, and they did really well in their first year in the Big 12. So I think they come out and they prove that. So I would take BYU to win in my bracket, and I'm also going to take BYU scoring less than 75.5 points. Next one's 14 versus a 3. It's Akron and Creighton. Akron's 24-10, 6-4 in their last 10. Creighton's 22-9, 7-3 in their last 10. Creighton's a 12.5 point favorite. Over under is 140.5. Creighton's the better team. They're going to win. I don't think it's going to be close. I would take Creighton up to negative, minus 14.5. We have Long Beach State, Arizona. It's a 15 versus a 2. Long Beach State was 21-14, 5-5 in their last 10. Arizona's 25-8. They were 7-3 in their last 10. Arizona's a 20 point favorite. Over under is 163.5. I'm going to pick Larson to go over 3.5 threes. And I got Arizona moving forward in the bracket. Next is Wagner. That's the team that beat Howard. They only have 7 players dressed out, which was pretty cool to see, and pretty amazing that they moved forward with 7 players only being at their disposal. They're playing a UNC team, a lot of tradition, but I don't think UNC's worth a number 1 seed this year, but we'll see. They're going to win this game for sure. Wagner 17-5, 6-4 in their last 10. UNC 27-7, 8-2 in their last 10. UNC is a 23.5 point favorite. Over under is 133.5. I would take the under, and UNC is gonna move forward in the bracket for sure. Next, you have 14 seed versus 3, Morehead State in Illinois. Morehead State is 26-8, 7-3 in their last 10. Illinois is 26-8 and 8-2 in their last 10. It's two really hot teams. Illinois is an 11.5 point favorite. Over under is 148.5. I think that Illinois is going to limit Minix's point production for Morehead State. I think that you need to take the over on Shannon Jr. for Illinois. He's over 23.5 points. I think he'll score more than 23.5. So Illinois is going to move on in the bracket. Next, you have Nevada, 26-7, 8-2 in their last 10, the 10 seed, versus number 7 Dayton, 24-7, 6-4 in their last 10. Dayton right now is a 1 point underdog, and the over under is 136.5. Nevada's playing good ball. The Mountain West is stronger than a lot of folks think. It's a good conference, very good basketball conference. So I think Nevada's going to move forward, and I think you should also take them on the money line in that game. I think the 10 seed is going to beat a 7. Next, you have Colorado State, number 10 seed, won their playing game against number 7 Texas. Colorado State's 25-10, 6-4 in their last 10. Texas is 20-12, 5-5 in their last 10. Texas is a 3-point favorite with 144.5 is the over under. My pick's Colorado State. If anybody knows me, they'll understand why I'm picking Colorado State. I think that Texas limped into the tournament. They haven't been playing well, and I think they're going to continue to not play well. So let's go Rams. Up next is 14 Oakland against number 3 Kentucky. Oakland was 23-11, 8-2 in their last 10. Kentucky's 23-9, 7-3 in their last 10. Kentucky is a 13-point favorite, and the over/under is 162.5. Kentucky wins, and I would bet that Reeves has more than 2.5 3-pointers. That would be pretty solid bet, I do believe. Up next, you got Will Wade and McNeese State, number 12 seed, against the number 5 Gonzaga. McNeese State's 30-3, 10-0 in their last 10. Gonzaga is 25-7, 9-1 in their last 10. I understand McNeese State didn't really play anybody. I mean, at one point they beat a team like 90-20, but it was the University of Mississippi Women's College. I know they do have men's athletics, but they haven't played anybody. They played like a bunch of nobodies. But I mean, Will Wade's a good coach. He's a good coach at LSU. He just unfortunately was paying players before they allowed it. So, everything he's doing at McNeese State, he was doing at LSU. It was illegal when he was there. It's not illegal anymore. So he's always been a good coach. He just got caught paying players. So the Zags are a negative, or are favored by 8.5 points, minus 8.5. Over under is 149.5. I'm going to take McNeese at plus 6.5. And I think Will Wade and McNeese move forward in the bracket. The Zags are no longer that sweetheart anymore. They're number 5 seed now. I think the last time McNeese was in the tournament, the Zags were just now making their run. So the next game is going to be South Dakota State, number 15, against number 2 Iowa State. South Dakota State is 22-12, 9-1 in their last 10. Iowa State's 27-7, 8-2 in their last 10. Iowa State's a 15.5-point favorite. Over under is 135.5. I didn't really have any action in this game, but Iowa State is going to move forward in the bracket. Next, you got St. Peter's, the 15 seed, 19-13, 8-2 in their last 10, versus Tennessee, 24-8, 7-3 in their last 10. Tennessee is a 21.5 point favorite. Over under is 129.5. I'm going to take the under, and Tennessee moves on in this game. Tennessee's really good. Next, you have the number 11 NC State at 24-14, 6-4 in their last 10, versus Texas Tech 23-10, 6-4 in their last 10. Texas Tech's a 4.5 point favorite, and the over under is 145.5. I've got Texas Tech moving on. Big 12 school against ACC. I think the Big 12 is a little bit deeper than the ACC was this year. So we're going to go with Texas Tech. Next, you've got the number 13 Sanford at 29.5 or 29-5, 8-2 in their last 10 against Kansas, who's 22-10, 4-6 in their last 10. They've kind of limped in, and they've got some injuries, some key injuries, but they still are a 6.5 point favorite, and the over under is 153.5. McClellar, I'm saying that right, is out for this game. Dickinson is questionable, but I think he'll play. And I've got him, I'm going to bet him to go over 19.5 points with McCullough being out. So I'm going to take Kansas moving forward. I'm going to bet on Dickinson scoring over 19.5. I'm going to take Sanford at plus 6.5 because I think it's going to be a really close game. Up next is Drake, who's 28-6, 9-1 their last 10 against Washington State, who's 24-9, 7-3 in their last 10. Washington State is a 1.5 point underdog, and the over/under is 138.5. I'm going to take Drake on the money line. Drake moves forward. Drake's a really good school. I'm not really sure about Washington State. And the last game of the day, that I have down here, the Drake game is going to be the last game of the day, but the last game that I'm going to cover is Oregon, who is 23-11, 7-3 in their last 10, and South Carolina, who's 26-7, 6-4 in their last 10. South Carolina is a 1.5 point favorite. The over/under is 133.5. Oregon's at number 11. South Carolina is at number 6 seed. Don't have any action in it as far as any betting tips. Just I know South Carolina is a really good team, and I'm gonna say that they're gonna beat Oregon and move forward. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, click that bell for notifications, and we'll see you next time tomorrow. Bye.
Just let me burn.